Hi there, and welcome to the Ankara Book Club. I have quite a few special books here that I've been dying to do a review of, and I hope they speak to you as well. And I'll just go into, I guess, the effect that these books have had on my life and how they found me. And always investing in this idea that knowledge and growth can come from all different mediums, from all different places. And your guides are always facilitating those sparks of creative thought, inspiration, or maybe even a timeline change. I've definitely had the experience in my life where my whole perspective of where I'm going can change from one book and the experience of reading that book or being in contact with that book. So this one that I'm about to review and talk about has definitely changed my life from a learning capacity. And I think I'll be reading it for quite a few years. It's not a front to back book. It's a every little bit at a time book. But I have greatly appreciated this book in so many different realms. And it came to me randomly one day. I was driving down the road in my local area and something said to pull into my friend's shop on the corner. And I hadn't been in there a long time. Even though I love the aesthetic of the shop, I didn't really know what I was going in for. It would be my go-to for handmade gifts or something special. And I went in just with an open mind and I started looking around, and I definitely had this feeling inside that I was going to find something or that something was there for me. And I kept on looking and kept on looking. And then I found this book by itself on a shelf of all these other books. And I believe I'd put out to the universe maybe only a week earlier, I'm craving depth in one of my hobbies. I'm craving that next step. And I don't know if it's a teacher or whether it's a online channel or YouTuber. I really didn't know, but I had that question in my heart and I picked up this book and I thought, I don't know, this could go either way. I don't know how this is going to go. I don't know if it's going to be amazing, but I'd still love to have it on my shelf and digest it. And that book was Advanced Tarot by Paul Fenton-Smith. It's big. There's a lot in here. And what I was looking for was a depth to tarot that challenged maybe or contrasted what I already knew. I was looking for deeper meaning, for alternative understandings of cards, or just so much more than what you can find in a Google search or in basic tarot books. And he uses Rider-Waite, which is very easy to follow. And there's a whole chunk of information about how to do certain readings and how to make your intuition be sharp in readings. And even though that's really great, I have just been working with doing daily divination and looking up his interpretation of the cards. And it's expanded my mind greatly. And I've probably been reading it for 3 months straight every day. I'd probably pick it up 15, 20 minutes every single day. That's how much I do divination as well, particularly with tarot. I think it's going to take me my whole lifetime to truly understand tarot. And I hope that my meanings and my development of those meanings deepen exponentially over time. I've noticed some people learn and then they hit a plateau and they use those same interpretations of cards over and over again. But what I'm really searching for is I can only grasp the sense of that card at the depth that I've journeyed to in myself. And I hope to, I'll put it up there, that's a bit easier. I hope to journey further with the cards as I truly understand and embody them over time and get this like huge bank of knowledge on each card and what it has meant to me, what it means to other people, how it could possibly play out. And he invites in that depth. There is as much depth for reverse cards as there is for upright cards, which I truly value. He doesn't go too light or too shadow either. He paints a picture and a story about the characters in the cards, who they might represent. Every single card is given a general meaning, a relationship meaning, a health meaning, and a career meaning. And usually there's an example or a case study in there of how that energy could play out. And he talks about, this beautiful concept that if you're stuck on one card or that card is very difficult, you have to return back to the previous card and move through the evolutionary lessons once again to pass through the discomfort. He talks about how the pages are looking towards becoming a king one day, and the pages are they're that young energy and that first insight about those suits. And they are then looking towards the knights. And then the knights are really going to become kings one day. And they usually have two paradigms or two pathways, because the knight is the fire energy of any of the suits. So instead of having a automatic blanket reading, I have this depth of what it could possibly be referring to and the depth of that knowledge. So it might take me my whole lifetime to understand the Knight of Wands, because I'll have to live it, embody it, reflect on it, understand it. And I'm thinking about people in my life that I feel represent the energy of the Knight of Wands. So when that card comes up, I have this whole bank of multi-layered information. And I feel like it's expanding my brain in that way, so that there's not just this cause and reaction, cause and effect way of reading. It's more, if I can view the card and interpret a whole bank of knowledge in my mind, but still be open to how that shows up, particularly for someone else and for myself, then I feel like I'm truly grasping the medicine and how incredible that medicine is, however many years and generations later. So Paul helped me with that depth, and he still is. I find his writing beautiful in many regards, eloquently articulated and beautiful language. And he's really grasped that depth. And I was so delighted to see, I've been reading it for months. It was changing my life. It was going everywhere with me. It's a big book. So I carted all around the house all day long. And I was so stoked to see when I look him up that he's actually Sydney based. He's an Australian. He's written many other things. He does a lot of tarot courses. He also does astrology, and that he was quite accessible and seemed to have this really sustainable and rewarding career as a clairvoyant. And I think that's really nice to see. From the outside, very unassuming, very professional looking, but then I guess representing the part of tarot that is that depth into history and character and story around how we pursue these themes in our life. So wealth and resources, emotions, relationships, thought patterns, creativity. It really has this depth to it that I've been searching for. I still need to use my oracle cards on top of tarot. I still really value that connection in between. And it's almost like in the beginning with tarot, you get yourself to a certain level and then you think, I can do multi-layered readings and I can do Celtic crosses. And actually his depth has brought me back to very simple readings, one or two cards, and getting the full depth. And that card might play out over months and months and months for me. And I think that's beautiful. It might be, and in this moment, you're still at that card, and in this reflection, you're still there. And here you are still searching for a way beyond this card, but it shows up again. And I really love that. I think we can hold those parameters in our mind and take ourselves through the different phases of what the cards represent. And that's been a really big medicine for me. The chapters and the phases of learning what it feels like to be with the Queen of Wands and the Queen of Pentacles or the King of Cups, or you can not see a card for years and then it can show up every day for months as you live and embody the depth of it and the medicine and the truth in it. and notice how your interpretation can mix with other people's. And we can have these very in-depth discussions about each card, and they can be completely different, but it's almost like they add to a huge conversation that must have been happening in the creator's life or the creator's mind. So I adore this book. I've bought a few tarot books over my time, but I really wanted to learn from people, from situations, from real life experience. That was my way. And when I picked this up, it was divine timing, and I'll probably sit on this for many months or many years until I'm ready for the next narrative. So huge thank you to Paul Fenton-Smith. Can't wait to connect with him and get a reading soon. And if you are into tarot or you want to get into tarot, highly recommend. And if you're looking for that depth in your divination, then this is certainly one narrative that can show you the way, at least for a short amount of time. So thank you for tuning in. If you like and resonate this episode or anything that we're doing, please like the video, subscribe. I'd love to hear your comments. What have you learned from in tarot? Where have you learned it from? Always open to suggestions with teachers or books or online learning. I'd love to know more. So let me know, and let me know what card you're stuck on, or I guess investigating deeply within yourself. Comment below. Love you so much. Bye.